What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll try to talk Sixers with you.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck like oh, this game he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Folks, Bob Mannery here, and you're listening to Agree to Disagree, the flagship, only on A2D Radio. Uncle Sweeps, Nick Del Caso, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right down there on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Also, on all your social media platforms as well. Go give them a follow. Nick Delgazzo, I'm Tom Arnone. The family out there, we're missing Greg. No Wills tonight. Hey, the show must go on. We weren't on last week, so, I mean, we pride ourselves in we never miss back to back. There might be a miss mixed in, never back to back. Okay, what competitors do, that's what winners do. That's what we're here to do. Also here to give you some losers. Crumb of the week at the end of the show. We do it weekly, so it's always a good time. There's always a ton to go around, and I might have a few from today. Just today was easy, so we'll get in. I'll get in maybe today, but throughout the week there's plenty. There's plenty of crumbs to go around, so we'll do that at the end of the show. Recap a little bit of the Eagles draft. Thought it was a home run. I mean, maybe you could have did some different things, and maybe it's better. But anytime you leave a draft, and I got a 24-year-old prove it player from a draft per se, and AJ Brown, I left my draft feeling pretty good. So we know how we always feel about proven guys compared to, hey, this is a crapshoot, right? I don't know what I'm getting. I'm hoping I'm getting, a great player in the draft, but I think Jordan Davis is almost a can't miss guy because he's just a monster. So I just feel like he's a can't miss and what he's going to be able to do in this league. Does he need things to get better in? Of course, right? We'll talk a little bit about that. And we'll talk about a little bit more about this entire draft class. Well, I was going to do some Phillies live reactions. That's a wrap. Phillies down 10-4 to the Mets. And maybe just not good enough. So we'll give you a little post game of this. Lose 2 out of 3 to the Mets again. Can't happen. Can't happen. Now, if you want to compete for a division, you'll be 5 out after tonight. Listen, you can make it up.
One of them being a no-hitter, bud. I mean, hey, losing sucks, but you got no hit.
Yeah, you
can't. Lineup, you got no hit.
Can't get no hit.
5 guys. Not one jabroni going like 120. 5 guys decided, hey, we're gonna combine to do this to you.
Yeah, I tip my cap when one guy no hits me. Right, you had it going on the night. All right, that happens. But you're right. When more than one guy gets involved in it, going to need this to end. Going to need that, and it just shows you, like, hey, are they going to be good? Do I think they're going to be all right? Do I think they have a chance for the top 6, playoffs since everybody makes it? Yeah, I do. I think they have a chance for that division. I don't. The way it looks, we still got a while to go here, but early on here, and you can only go off of what we watched. I think the Mets are in a little bit different of a class than us right now. Now that can easily change. That can go totally different ways. But right now, it's what it looks like. We've hit at times, and other times we don't hit. And then when we do get some offense going, you have nights like tonight where you're giving up a 10 spot. But our main topic at hand, and it really was going to be a main topic at hand before another injury added on to the injury Joel Embiid already has. It's going to be Sixers, Heat, a little preview of what we got coming up here tomorrow night. Starts a 7-game series against the Miami Heat. That's going to tie right into our poll question brought to you by Manscaped. And you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. The weed whacker, the lawnmower, the ball deodorant, the lip balm, the cologne, they got everything. They got everything over there. You'll find something you love. And I love all their products. But, hey, maybe you don't love all of them, but you'll find at least one that you love. And make sure you go check them all out and get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Poll question for tonight. The Sixers versus Heat series will go 7 games. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the follow. Download us over on the podcast forums. And make sure you review it. Give it 5 stars. And bigger than all of it, comment in. Let us know what you think. And I know this probably is an egregious poll question. And I just made it quickly. But I sort of made it quickly because the Heat are very good. Okay, I'm not taking anything away from the Miami Heat, but losing Joel Embiid kills us, right? And it doesn't just kill us like on paper. It kills us on the court, and we know it does. We know it does. But guess what? It's a 7-game series, all right? It's a 7-game series. It's not one game. It's not one game. So can I get somebody in this series if that's, we know we're going to need Harden to step up, but can Maxey go off in a series? Right? Can Tobias have a phenomenal series? Can Shake Milton maybe have a good series? Right? Like as far as you can go here, we can't go really any deeper than that. But can those guys who can score, can Niang step up and have a big series and be hitting it the 3 ball? Right? Can other guys step up in this series? Because if you do, and it is 7, he's playing by then. Right? He's playing by that point. Right? So not tread water, but can you go steal one in Miami? I think this basketball team can. Right? Do I think that they can sustain this for like series after series? Absolutely not. Not without him, right? But in one series, and it's not Milwaukee, it's not like the longest team in the country, which I feel like is the Milwaukee Bucks outside of, right, that in the East that I just get scared against because how do I defend it now even without Joel? But being that it's Miami and they're not as long as some of the other teams you could play, right? And they're more of a drag it out type team anyway. And I just think it fits us maybe a little bit, not better, but this is where I feel like if you have really great guard play in this series, you're going to win. So now the pressure shifts on to those 2 guards. And we've seen their little 2-man game start to go here over the last few weeks. Maxey and Harden together on pick and rolls and stuff like that. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Right now, can those 2 go off for a series? I really believe the one guy can, and that's the younger one. Right? Can the other guy be 25s? Can he be in the 25s? Because I think Maxey can really have a great series. So I agree. I think it's going to go 7. I think it's going to go 7.
I mean, that's he's the X factor, buddy. Like you said, old man weather. You know what I mean? Can he? James just looks washed. You know what I mean? So, and he's doing a lot of other things. I just mean like maybe the guy we expected. You know what I mean? And when open. But here's a chance to have the keys to the castle for a couple games. And can you step up and be huge and do all kinds of stuff? You know what I mean? So. But I would disagree to the poll, and I love to be wrong. I know what you're saying, and I agree with you what you were saying. You know what I mean? It's just they're really deep. They're probably the deepest team, and that's the only thing that scares you. You know what I mean? They're just they're not long, but they're deep. You know what I mean? And they run a lot of different matchups. I think they win the coaching battle. I think, you know what I mean? And I understand that can be a coin toss for people that, not just Doc haters like myself. But I think that, not that he's done anything without the big three. I think you had said that, a long time ago when people were crowning them. You know what I mean? So, I'm not, I'm not calling him, Pops, Pops Spolstra, by no means. You know what I mean? But I do like him as a coach, and I would give him the nod. You know what I mean? I think he's done a lot more. He hasn't cut any nets down, but I think he's always done a little more. With less, if you ask me, as opposed to Doc, who's a perennial failure for the most part. You know what I mean? And that might not be fair. You know what I mean? But that's just the way I look at it. And I could be, even more fuel to my fire is what happened to the big fella. And people want to tell you it's freakish and other NBA teams do it. I don't care what other NBA teams do. You understand? Up 29, under 4, no reason for it. No reason for it. So I don't care if it's inadvertent. I don't care. I don't want any explanation. He doesn't belong in the game. And here we are. All right. And he can wear the Phantom of the Opera mask. The biggest thing is the concussion thing. Right. So you're down, you're already looking at 2, right? Possibly 3. They're hoping that he returns for 3 and 4. You know what I mean? But, we all know, how fickle concussions are. You know what I mean? It just, doesn't mean he's soft. Doesn't mean, right away, all the haters and everybody wants to giggle and say, oh, Joel's out. A shocker. Okay, dude. The good guy played all fucking season, dude. You know what I mean? The fucking dude was, the MVP. All right. I don't care what anybody says. All right. And it's one of those things where it shouldn't have happened. All right. He was playing through a torn thumb ligaments. And he's easier said than done, Harris Sweeps. He's playing through that. And then this unnecessary thing should have never happened. And then, sometimes, the first thing people want to go to before they want to kill Doc is because and we live in a politically correct world. So when you turn on the TV, first thing they want to tell you is, oh, it shouldn't have went 6. They were depleted. We told you got to finish games. No shit. No shit. I mean, they're a well-coached team, so they're going to give them 4, right? They shouldn't have got 5 back in our place. We know that. All right, that was the key game. All right. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. I want to talk about when it happened. It happened up 30 with under 4. Okay, shouldn't have happened. Okay, so now we're trying to play the cards we're dealt, and here we are. All right, so can I hope we get a split? Yeah, anything's possible. Like you said, that's how pro sports is. When something looks and something smells so fishy on one side and smells sweeperama, right? Then it goes the other way. Right? So I'm hoping we're in that boat. I'm hoping that happens to us.
Yeah, it never usually does. But like you talk about, hey, can this be a real coming out party for Tyrese Maxey? We've seen him play great down in Miami. The last time we were down there in the regular season, he played great there. Like, okay, yeah, they're deep and they bring shooters. Hey, can they have a cold night one night where we can steal one, right? Like, so we're trying to find ways for that. Like, whoever Tower Hero's guarding, are we going to attack him again like we did in the game in Philly? So how are we going to go about it? And there's been times and I don't think it's a sustainable thing. Like going and beating, good teams over and over and over again per se without your best player, something that I don't think happens and it's sustainable. But is it possible in 7? Sure, it's possible in 7 that I can outplay somebody. We've seen Doc one time in his coaching career maybe do more with less, and that was the year where that was one of his before they got PG, right? Before they got PG and Kawhi, when they had like Tobias, right? That one year at Tobias where they were a good basketball team, and he did it with less. It wasn't star driven by any stretch, and they were winning basketball games. So it's like, okay, can you have your best coaching series, right? Can you pull a rabbit out of the hat here? And there's ways that we can go and win one game there. Now, do I think you go there and you win 2? No, I think it can go 7. Now, once it gets 7, we know how that works. But I also assume, hey, by 7, I get Joel back. Or, I should be having Joel back at some point hopefully within this series. If it's going further, maybe game 5, right? Maybe, right? Somewhere around there. If the series extends the way we're hoping it for at worst, then why can't I beat them in 7? Right? But this is why I hate to say it, but this is why other guys are getting paid. And it's not like we don't have 3 guys in our starting lineup that can't score. Like, we have 3 guys who can score the basketball. So can one of those guys go the hell off? And the best option for that is Tyrese Maxey. Now, we don't expect him because he's young to do it every night. But, man, this is sometimes where guys come out to play. Hey, can Tyrese come out to play?
No, you're right. And when you're trying to slingshot, right, you gotta be extraordinary. When you got out your slingshot and you're trying to kill fucking Goliath, you gotta do all the little things. We know that, right? But you gotta shoot. The number one thing for us is to shoot the basketball, right? So I mean, to take away the big fella's points and everything he brings and all the intangibles, and being the MVP in our eyes and a lot of people's eyes, right? But if we can dump in, easier said than done. But if we can make 16 threes, all right, all the games we won, we shot the ball great from 3. You know what I mean? And if we can find a way to dump in 15 threes in one of these, in game 1 or game 2, I think that's how we can steal a game.
Yeah, that's it. And I know it's easy, like you said, easier said than done, but that's it. That's it. I mean, I just need a game where I come shoot the lights out. Because are we going to be as good defensively? No, of course not. And we're already not good defensively as it is. But we're also not going to have we're going to have most likely athletes back there. If it's Reed or Jordan, if he's not an athlete anymore, or maybe Bassey, right? We're going to have guys that can get up and block shots. So it's not like we have, fucking shit, not shit big men, but like big men that can't protect the rim, right? At least we have some big men that can protect the rim a little bit. But hey, man, I mean, maybe this, I hate to say helps Harden, but maybe this helps Harden a little bit too, and helps Tyrese, where, we run everything through Joe, and rightfully so, right? So these guys' roles are a little bit different when Joe's on the court. So maybe it helps these guys get into a rhythm for a couple games where that's where we can go steal one, right? Maybe next thing you know, we're up 2-1 in this series, right, without Joe. We go up 2-1 somehow in this series without Joe. I mean, wow. Whoa, and that can happen. Now, do I think you go win the whole thing without Joe? The rest of the series? I don't know about that, right? I'm going to need him back at some point, but can I get him back at 5, maybe being up 3-2? So something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got it. Like I said, anything's possible, and who the hell knows how we're going to react to this? But I think anything past 3 games, obviously we're dead. You know what I mean? The first 2, which we already know, it's well documented. You know what I mean? That's when you just put on your hard hat, because plenty of teams on the road have dropped the first 2. You know what I mean? Like if you hold home court, the series isn't over. You know what I mean? So even in a disastrous 0-2 hole, as long as it's on the road, listen, it's not ideal. Nobody wants it, and don't sign me up for it. But we've seen it plenty of times in the history of basketball and us watching basketball. You know what I mean? So, it's not like, that would be something shocking. So if we competed in those games and we got nipped or whatever, at least we showed we had some kind of pulse. And then the big fella can walk through the door, walk down the tunnel like Willis Reed in game 3. All right, then you're feeling confident as a basketball team, and we're back home. And then you see if you can grab games 3 and 4 to get this thing tied up. But I would love a split, like you said. I just don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not being a homer, like you said. It's just talking about. I don't see it. I'm hoping it. Trying to hope it into existence, and hoping somebody steps up and. And some things go our way, and they get cold, and they're battling some injuries as well. You know what I mean? We talked about before we came on, Jimmy and Lowry both missed the game 5 clincher for them. So I don't know the status for those guys. I'm sure Jimmy will be okay, but I think Lowry's been a little bit banged up for a while now. And like I said, they're very deep, so that's not a huge issue for them. But I mean, if Jimmy's out, if he gets nicked a game or 2, which, it'll be interesting to see, how that unfolds.
Well, the other side of it too is that the one thing we didn't bring up is just the human nature of sports, right? That it's not a computer, right? So it's not based off of your ranking, right? Who's going to beat who in a simulated game. So part of it is the human side of it and the mind side of it. And now if I'm Miami, right, and that news hits your alerts, right, as players, Some guy,
Camargo with a missile. Sorry, buddy. In the
yeah,
middle.
it was.
Love Camargo. Well established. We love Camargo.
Hate the Mets. We do like Camargo though. Just to keep mentioning but the human nature of it, and the you let your foot off the gas a little bit, right? Because that's it. The steal one, you just need Miami to let their foot off the gas a little bit as players, and you might not get. I'm not saying you get 10 players that let their foot off the gas, right? But if I get 4 players that let their foot off the gas a little bit, or think the series is easy because there's no Joel, right? And everybody knows how important Joel is. That's how you steal games. That's how you do it. So that won't last forever, but can you go, say, like, God forbid, can you go 2-2? Can you be 2-2 in this series, right? And then Joe comes back. Like, worst case scenario. Like, I think, when you say 3 games, I think I'm right at that 4 number, right? Like, I think I can get away with 4. I'm praying for that. I'm not guaranteeing that, right? Like, I think I can get away from 4 because this isn't the big bad wolf. Like, I don't look at the Miami Heat. I look at them as very good. I just don't look at them as the big bad wolf. I look at them as beatable. Not that other teams aren't. If this was Boston, I don't think that's going to age well for us, right? If this is Milwaukee, I don't think it ages well for us. Like, right away, I don't think it ages. Miami, I don't know because like you talk about Jimmy a little bit, right? He's not 100%, obviously. Okay. I don't care about Lowry, but Jimmy's not 100%, obviously. And they don't have the star. They just have a lot of really good basketball players, right? So not that that's a bad thing, but like it's that one series where I'm not seeing that big bad wolf.
No, yeah, I get it, and I was with you all year on that theory, and I'm not against.
It's harder to sell now.
Yeah, no, but I'm not against you here either. You know what I mean? Like they're the one season. Well, excuse me, they were the 1 seed. For a reason. It's a good basketball team. It's no disrespect, but that's kind of what we said all year. You know what I mean? Like in a star-driven world, in a star-driven league, they have Jimmy. We love Jimmy when his time was here. They love Jimmy. You know what I mean? But it's Jimmy and a bunch of guys, and Jimmy's probably not a top 15 guy anymore. You know what I mean? If I don't know if you scroll through them. It could be a question for another time, but I don't think he makes the top 15 anymore. So, that's the kind of what stars we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking about, having a superstar. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's in the top 15. So this goes back to your point. You know what I mean? Like they're just, this is just more of a complete team and a deeper team. So. On any given night, though, when you're not a star, those type of players can resort back to being just tiny little dudes. You know what I mean? Like just little miniature guys. You know what I mean? Like star. That's what they do. You know what I mean? Like very rarely is a star not gonna have a great night. You know what I mean? Like, it happens, don't get me wrong, but they have their fingerprint. When you're a superstar, you have your fingerprint all over a game. It's in some category. You got your prints on a game. Whether it's at the defensive end, on the glass, from 3, getting your teammates involved, whatever it is, and a lot of superstars do everything. So it's all the above. But when you're just a regular dude, like, you got if you got an off night, hey, giddy up. I mean, come on. I mean, like you're just, then that dude becomes just like me and you.
Seriously, and we've seen we know Tyler Hero is a damn good offensive player, right? Just like speaking to these guys, but they have limitations. Like, right, you talk about him on the defensive side. We abused him the one night in Philly. We just attacked him, like almost like Atlanta did to Seth Curry last year, right? Against us in the series, and Atlanta walked into that series, and we were the better basketball team. Okay, like last year, we were the better basketball team. Better basketball team doesn't always win, and what they had is a guy go unconscious, and that guy was Trae Young. I believe we have a player here that I'm not saying it's Trae Young. I don't really like Trae Young, but a player here that can do that. We actually have 2. Realistically, the one hasn't done it in a minute. In James Harden, but we arguably have the biggest star still in the series, And I'm not saying he's better than Jimmy. I'm not like I watched the play, so I'm not saying he's better than Jimmy, but we do.
But you see what happens. Like just the fact that you brought him up though, and it kind of leads into our series that we're in now. You know what I mean? Like you go, the Heat were a better basketball team, so that wasn't a shocker. But Trae Young, who me and you don't really care for, whatever, it's everybody's cup of tea. He was absolutely horseshit in that Heat series. You know what I mean? And you find yourself losing, in 5 games. You know what I mean? So, where he was, to your point, he was an absolute monster against us, and that's how you slay the dragon. You know what I mean? With other variables that we self-inflicted stuff on our end as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? What's up, Eagle Slayer? What's up, brother?
Yeah, I think we all agree with Eagle Slayer when you talk about Harden and Max need to go for 30 without Embiid. I don't even think it needs to be to 30. I mean, if they're in the 25, if they're 25 plus, I think we're in really good shape in any game. I think if they're both going 25 plus, like you're in good shape. Now, again, you're going to need more. So where's the rest of it coming from? That's where I look at a guy, and I look at a guy because now you got to listen. You got to have really good guard play in this series, in my opinion, to be able to steal this. Because you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it with the big man, right? So you have to. It's just common sense. You have to have great guard play, and that goes deeper than just Maxey and Harden. That goes to the one I'm looking at, Shake Milton. You've played in playoff basketball before, right? Like I need Shake Milton to step up because where are the extra shots coming from now? Because you got to replace like 18 to 20 shots a night now from your basketball team. So where are they coming from? Right? He's proven he can score a little bit in this league. Right? Can he get, matched up on Hero, right? And maybe be able to take him off the dribble a little bit and do some things against him. So can you get a guy like that going? So what else can you get? Like I said, Niang has to have probably his best series. Not probably, has to. Okay? Tobias has to have his best series. So can guys have their best series all together?
Yeah.
Listen, it's not crazy. Like I said, I would never be talking like this if it was Milwaukee or Boston because I just don't. I think we're outmatched. Then they got star-driven teams. Like I just don't feel it our way. But if there's a series where we can fucking steal it without Joel Embiid, right? To me, this is the one. This is the one, and I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not sitting here running the broad street over it. It's just can the real James Harden stand up? Because listen, the one thing I do know about professional athletes is they like getting paid, right? If James Harden wants the kind of contract that I would assume a player wants at the end of this year, this series is going to dictate that for him. It's going to absolutely dictate on if he's a max guy again. Because if he has a shit series, right, without the big fella, people are going to be like, well, this guy can't do it by himself. He's not a max guy, right? He can't carry a team anymore. This series makes or breaks him. It really does. And it shows us moving forward, what do we do contract-wise with this guy? Are we giving him max money, or are we trying to say, hey, look at the series you just had, right? I mean, that's more of like, hey, if you're by yourself, that's more of this kind of money, right? So, but if he has a monster series, which he's capable of, I know we've all been hard on him, myself included. Times looks like he stinks, okay? But he's also capable of having a great series. You know what I mean? I know he's had struggles in the past in some playoff games, but his playoff numbers are pretty good. So can he go off for 2 games? I think if he's getting the volume of shots he's going to get now, that's where a guy like him can get hot, right? Like I think he's a volume shooter, always has been. He needs his volume. Some guys need their volume. I think James Harden's the definition of needing his volume. Well, you're going to get your volume now. So are you going to vacuum anything up?
Yeah.
That's the question. Time's yours, James. Time's yours.
I hear you, buddy. So, like, what kind of number would you look at? Like, take away our 3 guys. We know that our 3 guys got to be monsters. You know what I mean? But like talking about, you can even add a 4th guy if you want to add Thibault, which he brings nothing. But you know what I mean? Shake, Danny, Niang. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of number are you looking at? Like 40 from those 3 guys? You know what I mean? And that might be a yeoman's task. I'm just saying, like, to pick up the slack from the big fella. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you want to add Thibault in there, you make it 4 guys. And four guys, what? Get to 50? Can we get 50 out of those 4 guys? I know, right? When you look at it like that, I didn't mean to do that to you, but I'm like, geez, and crackers, I know.
I don't know where it's coming from either. That's why I brought up Shake, right? Because I don't know where it's coming from. He's the only guy out of them guys that can consistently score like on his own, can create his own shot. Right? He's the only guy out of those guys that has the ability to. I'm not even like trying to do a crown shake party, but he's the only guy out of them that has the ability to create his own shot. You know, can they get it? Can they? I don't know if Thibault brings you anything offensively. So he's almost like he's a goose egg unless he gets lucky.
I know.
So if you get, because if you get 50 out of those, you know, if you get,
I mean, 15, how about 18, 15, 12, and 8? What's that? 18, 15 is 33, 12 is 45, and 8 is 53, bro. That could be, maybe that's a recipe. I don't know. All right.
I think, listen, if there's any point in this series where you say you get 90, right? That's a big number, right? 90 from the 3. And that can go in any way, shape, or form, right? That could be a Maxey 38 piece and somebody else, right? You know what I mean? But like, or say you get 80. Say you can get 80 from those 3. Can those 3 give you 80? I think that's more of a fair number because that's not 30 a pop, right? From each guy. So can they give you 80? Can they give you, and then can you get, then what do you need? Then again, then you need like
35. You need 35 from those cats.
Yeah, 35, 40 from those guys. But then you're not factoring in as like B-ball Paul get a dunk, right? Like we're not factoring those like extras in.
Yeah, it didn't have to be those 4. Like you're saying, hey, if I put the big number at 80, then I need 35 to 35 from everybody else, and that puts me at 115. I feel pretty comfortable with that. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like maybe we got to get 40, and then maybe we got to score 120.
See, Mike Williams, I don't know if he'll play in this series though, Cork. So, you know, I don't know what they're thinking on how they're going to go about this one. I'd be hard pressed to think the guy's playing when he hasn't. I mean, they could even run Millsap at times because of Tucker, right? Because of that, like sort of the size they bring with their different lineups when they go smaller. So they have like options there, not great ones, but they have options on how they want to go about it. But no, I mean, it's like we just hit the nail on the head. This series comes down to those 3 guys hitting the number, and then from the rest of all the rest of them, can you get 40? Right? Can you get 40? Because then you're probably winning. You're probably winning more games than you're not. So if you get 30, you're still at 110, right? You're still at 110, which is like, so if you get 70 and 40, you're right. So it's not crazy to be able to think you can't win games that way. But I don't know. It's going to be, listen, it's going to be an uphill battle because this isn't going to be easy. It got a lot harder.
Yeah, of course.
But I did for funsies just say Sixers and 7 because I got to believe he's coming back. So I just got to believe in him. Now, what shape is he going to be in? I don't know. Not like shape, like cardio shape, like shape just body. Everything's broken or torn. And he's like getting ripped. He's getting like ripped up by the lion he was fighting, right? And it's just slowly ripping off pieces of skin and shit. And this is where we're at. No, I don't know what he can even be. I mean, people think he's coming back game 3.
I mean, like I said, I love, I would love that. You know what I mean? Like I said, last time it happened, there was no concussion. That to me is the scary part. All right. And that's why I would just, I don't want it to, I don't want it to be true. And I don't care if I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I welcome being wrong. You know what I mean? I just look at it like, it's for me without him and all this other stuff. I got Heat in 5. And listen, I don't want it to ever be true. You know what I mean? I'm going to be sitting there screaming at the TV and hoping for, hoping for the best. You know what I mean? It's just, the concussion part scares me. You know what I mean? Obviously, broken orbital is no fun. You know what I mean? But we've seen Phantom of the Joe before. You know what I mean? It's just, the concussion part to me is the X factor. And obviously that's what's keeping him out of game 1 and 2. And then, we know how many times he hits the ground. The guy's on the ground a lot. You know what I mean? And it's just, we're going to hold our breath every time, come game 3 or game 4, and, which we always done. Anytime he hits the floor, we hold our breath. You know what I mean? But it's just,
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. Where were we at? Yeah, he did fight a lion. Don. Well, I don't think they're going to double and triple team James, Todd. Not right away, at least. I mean, I think they would man up and go one-on-one until the guy proves he can beat you. But who knows? Pat says without Lowry for game 1, this is honestly a very winnable game. Sixers fans shouldn't be scared for game 1. I don't think it's scared. I think it's realistic, though, to say, like, okay, it's the Heat series to lose. And that's sort of where I am. But that doesn't mean they can't lose it and it can't go 7 and you can't steal something and you can't. Like Sleep said, slay a dragon, or Maxey can't have the a coming out party series. Like, that's that's possible. Like, that's the realistic one. Like, if there's any realistic way, how did the Sixers beat Miami? Well, Tyrese Maxey just officially comes on out. Here he is, right? And here he is, and he's here for a series like that, right? That's doable. It's doable. He's shown us flashes of it in the playoffs already. So now without Joel, he's actually been more aggressive when Joel hasn't played in the past. So I'm going to expect him to be aggressive, right? I'm going to expect Tyrese Maxey to be aggressive in this series, and until he shows me otherwise, because he's always been aggressive without Joel. Because I think when you play with Joel, the other side of it is hey, I gotta get the big fella eating, and that's just common sense. So now you're not. Again, this is where your guard play can maybe steal you. See, we talk about how great their guards are, and we know how good their guards are, but I'm not gonna. Like, hey, I'll say one last time. This is James Harden series. So, can you have your best series of your career maybe, and can Joel Embiid come back by 3 or 4? I think it's possible. I mean, you're already talking 5 days or at least 4 tomorrow, right? And then by game 2 is Wednesday, and then it's travel. And you're not till what, Saturday probably, I would guess, because you get like the extra day for travel in there. So, whatever. By that point, I would say he's probably close, right? Like, NFL guys aren't usually out for 2 straight weeks. So, I would think he's closer to coming back. Now it's like, how does he feel, right? But the more you can steal and feel like you hold the cards of how this series is going to go, the longer you can try to let the face heal up a little bit, right? We know the ligament's not going to heal, but that's almost something the more you play with, the better it feels in some weird way, right? But with the face, can you give it? Can we give this a week and a half? Like, can we possibly do that? Can we possibly give it 2 weeks? I don't know. That comes down to you being able to steal one. And then, if you stole 2, which I think is nearly impossible. Okay, nearly impossible. But if you stole 2, then you're really feeling good. Like, well, man, shit, I don't got to see Joe for at least 2 more games. At least 2 more. Because if they tied it 2, here comes Phantom of the Embiid out. And we roll that way. So, listen, I know him. We know him. He's going to play at some point. It's when like you said, once he passes the concussion side of it, then it just becomes pain tolerance. But, dude, nothing's going to hold this guy back. And I don't say that about a lot of players, but this guy wants it. And that's why I feel so terrible for him as a player. Yeah. Because I know how bad he wants it, and us as fans, obviously. But for him going through it when, like, playing the best basketball of his career, and not only does he get a ligament, okay, but then he shows us in game 6 against Toronto, that ligament's not going to be a problem, right? He showed us that. So we're all feeling fucking good. We're all sitting back, look at it. Ligament don't matter. He's good. Joel's here. And then, boom. It's a freaking joke. It's a joke. And, like, I was all snippy that night, too. And even Leonard's like, what's wrong with you? I said, you don't know what I go through. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, work? I said, no. With my sports teams. You don't know what I go through. You don't know the pain and suffering. And all we ask for is, like, dude, don't do this to us now. Like, don't do this to us right now. We have a monster series against a former teammate in Jimmy Butler, and you're going to let this guy go out like that. And listen, Doc Rivers should get crucified for that. All right, I've been fair to Doc on a lot of things. That's a joke. That's a disgrace. Control the controllables. And the controllables are that this game's over. This game's over. This game's over. Nothing good coming from this. What am I teaching? What am I teaching? I'm teaching finish. Fuck you, Doc.
But what it makes it worse is forget it. I don't know. We already talked about the score and the time and all that stuff, but this is a guy that's that they sat out, they took care of load management. You know what I mean? Like obviously, this year wasn't that bad because he was healthy. You know what I mean? But years past, they've looked out for the guy. He sat out back to backs. We kept an eye on his minutes and stuff. You know what I mean? So the history. We're in a playoff game. It's over. It's like I don't know.
Nothing good comes from it. If you have a young basketball team, right, and you're first starting to learn how to win, right, then finish the job.
Like I said, and you have no feel for the room. You know what I mean? Like you said, time and score, we take that out of the consideration. Well, I mean, of course it has to be in consideration, but just talk about the other variables, right? The series you're in. Nick Nurse, I lost a lot of respect for him. Crybaby, fucking crybaby pussy. All right. Still a great coach. Crybaby pussy. All right. And that's the way it goes. All right. He never shut the fuck up the whole fucking series. All right. And it's unbelievable. All right. And there was muggings going on. Joe got mugged. A couple of his guys got hit. And it was like, and he couldn't help himself. He just cried the whole time. You know what I mean? So I lost so much respect for him, from that aspect. You know what I mean? And then you got, and then so you have that you have that factor coming in. You know what I mean? It's in Toronto. Those people fucking hate him. They hate Joe. They're still having parties that he's hurt. You know what I mean? This fucking scumbag Canadians that they are. You know what I mean? So just get him out of there. You know what I mean? You let the guy walk off the court and he can salute the Canadians and he can laugh at him and say, not this year. It's just.
Yeah, it's just it's unfair. It's unfair. But you got a young team and you're trying to prove a point. Fine, Mortal Kombat finish them. But come on, dude, you got a veteran group now, right? You have a veteran group here, right? You said time and place, right? Feel the room. Like you got a veteran group. We got this game. This game's over. I get them out. Live to play another day, and I get it. It's a freak thing, but you're also in a series where they've made it clear as a basketball team they have no problem taking cheap shots.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they tried to do. They came in game one, and that's what they tried to do. Tried to establish fake tough guyness, and they didn't win that. But they weren't going to win that, so they just that was it. Then all of a sudden Joe's dirty. He's like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? If it's the start of the fourth, absolutely. All right, not with 4 minutes left. And like you said, the best thing you said right there, with a lot of other things wrapped around it, and is a veteran team. We've seen it with the fucking Minnesota Timberwolves. You know what I mean? A younger team with still, that don't know how to win. A team that doesn't know how to get to the finish line. And we saw it in their series. But a lot of that stuff was happening in the third quarter, early fourth. And nobody losing a 29-point lead with 4 minutes to go.
No. You should walk over Toronto if that ever happened.
It ain't make it take it. There's not enough possessions.
It should never happen. And now we're in this. We're in another situation with Joel again in the playoffs and being banged up. And this is my favorite basketball player in the world. And I call how I see it. And this is every year.
Hey, the more we talk about it, the more angry we're going to get. Not because we love the Sixers and we love how Joe played this year and everything he did. So we feel sorry for him. But it's like the more I talk about it, the more angry I get, because the dude has torn ligaments in his thumb and he's still in the game with 4 minutes to go. Oh God. I mean,
we just left that part out of it.
Yeah. It was just like, hey, you know what? Hey, let's try to finish with a healthy Joe. He's not healthy prior to getting fucking elbowed.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I still think, anything's possible. It can always go 7. You're going to get him back at some point. When does he come back? How much can you endure without him for a little bit of time? And like you said, 3 games, I said 4. We're right around the same of what we think they maybe can endure without him. But you could also go down 3-0, right? You know what I mean? You could also be swept in 4. So listen, I'm not going to act like I'm not going to play in a damn good basketball team. But, hey, I still feel like I got some talent here. So, hey, can I get a coming out party, and can we maybe shock the world for a game or two and then get the guy and get our best player back in some sort, whatever that's going to be when he comes back. I don't even know. But Joel Embiid at 78% is better than the alternative. So I'll take that over B-Ball, fucking Paul, and Charles Bassey and DeAndre Jordan. Just nothing does. None of them do it for me. And Bill, you're right to a point. You know, it does put more pressure on the Heat. And you know, maybe that helps you steal one. And yeah, the line's 7 or 7.5 the last time.
Appreciate you, Billy. And I mean, and you know, and we hear you, but it's an excellent point. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you really have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? They're the 1 seed. You know, they're the favorite. They were the favorite coming in. You know, obviously with Joe, you know, the lines are a lot closer and all that stuff. But make no mistake, you know, about it. Even if, you know, Joe's playing, the Heat are still the favorite. You know what I mean? So, you know, but right now it's eye popping. You know, they're that much of a favorite. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if he's going to miss you know, whether it's, you know, we already know it's 2, but anything more than 2. You know what I mean? So we hear you, Bill. You know, and obviously as Philly fans, you love the underdog role. You know what I mean? Roof. So, put your mask on, bro. Let's go.
Hey, anything's possible. And if you get good guard play, you can absolutely steal stuff. So what James Harden do we going to get tomorrow night? And you know, is Tyrese Maxey ready for this? Which I all think we believe he is. So
and Todd, we hear you, buddy. I mean, that's kind of what Tom was saying earlier. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're able to steal one of those first 2 games, you know, and he's not ready to go in game 3, you know what I mean? And you know, and you know, worst case scenario, you're looking at a 2-1 hole, and then you know maybe he's ready for game 4 at home. You know what I mean? And you'll sign up for that, dude. Todd will sign up for that. You'll sign up for that. Tom will sign up for it, and I'll fucking sign up to be down 2-1 going to game 4 if the big fella that hasn't played yet.
Absolutely.
Giddy the fuck up.
All day. I'll take 2-1 and Joe's coming back game 4.
Yep. And
anybody that want to sign up for that,
yep.
It's crazy. And now the other side of it, can you get it? Can you be somehow be 2-1?
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, this is the one.
I mean, if you get 1, can you get 2?
No reason to stop for 1. We didn't come for just 1. So listen, anything's possible in these types in game 7 in 7-game series. And again, one last time, especially against teams that aren't star driven. Like you have a little bit more of a fighter's chance. Doesn't mean you're gonna knock them out.
Yeah,
a little bit more of a fighter's chance in those types of series.
You don't know what happens in game 3. That's the thing. Like, you know, so you know, I think everybody's objective, you know, with a healthy playoff team in any of the 4 majors is to get the split in the first 2. You know what I mean? When you're on the road, your objective is to get a split, right? Anything else is gravy. Anything less isn't the end of the world, right? But if you get a split, you've now broken the you know home court, you know, and you're going back home, you know, 1-1, and that's all you can ask for in any of the 4 majors, you know.
Oh, agreed. Ryan Curry. Yep, I remember the game where we beat him without Joe and Harden. That's a little different. It is regular seasons, you know. It's different than the playoffs. Totally. Jonathan, no, I don't think nobody here is disrespecting Miami Heat. They're a damn good basketball team. I'm just saying when you're not star driven, it's sometimes like, you know, we can maybe steal a game. Oh, you know, I don't know if we're stealing 2, but maybe we can steal a game before Joel comes back. So that's how we're looking at it.
We didn't disrespect them. I mean, like
we've had him in 5. So what are you talking about disrespect? You had him in 5.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I just mean like, you know, the way we both talk about it. You know what I mean? Sure, we don't. We haven't disrespected them all year. You know what I mean? I think
this is in Heat radio.
I think we've given them their props. We just explained why, you know, that we're not scared of them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a difference. You know what I mean? Like, you should always respect your opponent, right? But there are teams and there are players that you don't fear. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a difference. Like, hey man, I respect him. That guy could go off, you know, in any of those sports. You know what I mean? but I'm not scared of them. You know what I mean? Like, when you face Nolan Ryan and you face Randy Johnson, you're scared shitless. You know what I mean? Like, you respect them and you're scared shitless. When you played MJ and you played Kobe in the playoffs, you played Shaq and all the greats, Larry Bird and Magic, and we'll even say LeBron to make all these people happy. You know what I mean? You're scared shitless. You respect them.
It's true.
And you play Tom Brady, you're scared. Hey, Tom Brady's, you coming out for the pregame handshake in the Super Bowl. You're scared shitless.
Assume you're going to lose. Assume you're going to lose those types of battles, right? Like knowing the greatness. Listen, Miami's a good basketball team. They're obviously number one in the East. The last 3 years, the number one team seed in the Eastern Conference has lost in the second round. So take that for what it's worth. Can it be another one?
Yeah. How many times was it us?
Yep. I know we were once, and Milwaukee was once. I don't know who the other one was, but
the guy's just reading facts. I didn't mean to do that to you.
It's fine. It's fine. I think we were just once. Thank God. We finally got there, and we're like, this thing here, everything runs through us. Hawk said nope, and that's how it goes. Like especially if you steal one, right? Like once you steal one, if you steal one on the road, that pressure shifts big time to them. They just said to themselves, "Holy shit, we lost the game at home, and they only got Joel Embiid. What just happened? What just happened?" So that's what you hope for. Now, get in the Phillies a little bit, and our Phillies conversation is brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA, daily MLB contests as well. You can win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. FanUp right on the Apple Store. Go download it. Use our promo code. Come challenge me in anything. Phillies stink. So that's really all I got to say about the Phillies. They can't beat the Mets. Anytime they get a little bit of momentum, you feel like it goes away real quick. So, and we'll see. I hate to say we got a while left, but there's still a ton of baseball left. So, from what I watched, they're what their record says they are. They're below average team right now. So until they decide to fix that, you can't keep losing series. I think they're atrocious against the NL East already to start the year off. You're already 5 games back.
Yeah, 5 back.
You rely too much on the long ball. You're pitching, Zach Eflin's not good enough. You're pitching, you're hitting. Nothing's really lived up to what it's supposed to yet. That doesn't mean it can't. But right now it is not. Not as advertised, the Philadelphia Phillies. Not at 92 wins. Not at 90 plus. Can they steal and maybe get a 6-hole, a 5-hole and still make the playoffs? Maybe. But not playing like this. So, they're going to need some consistency, and they're going to need to run off a few. We've been saying it. They did a little bit better. That 4-game sweep against Colorado is massive. Anytime you can 4-game sweep somebody, I don't care who it is, that's gigantic. But you got to carry that, man. You can't carry that over to a Mets series and get no hit by 27 guys. Grow the fuck up. You know what I mean? Grow up. So there's certain things you can't have. We'll see if if this offense can carry them for a little bit. If they get some guys hot, I don't know. But right now it's just blah. It's blah. Some nights they bring you in, and then nights like tonight where it's like, all right, you're gonna tell me something. Can you go win this series? And you get beat 10-4. I know it ended up being 10-6, but it's not really 10-6. 10-4.
Yeah.
Game's over. Doesn't look as close to 10-6.
I think there's, obviously there's plenty of concerns, on the surface, like you're talking about, but I think one that, people, not us, but a lot of people don't even realize, because he's still hitting is Harper's elbow. You know what I mean? Like, we know we live in, when a guy like this isn't the days of Big Papi and Edgar Martinez and Frank Thomas, you know what I mean? When like the DH was locked in. This is a day and age where, that position needs to be, and I'm so glad, obviously Phil's fans are very fortunate that it brought in. I've been screaming for 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Don't tell me it's not baseball. Wham, wham, wham. They don't play the game. If they played the game like it was supposed to, then maybe I'll get your point. But I don't need pitchers hitting. Sorry, I don't. It's an extra job. That's it. End of discussion. You know what I mean? So for
Allen got hurt.
Philly fans, Philly fans are, they're fortunate that it became universal, right? Because this guy wouldn't be able to play, right? So there's whatever's going on in that elbow, that's, there's some glaring issues here. And I know, obviously Homer tonight, so it's not affecting him as much, at the plate, but he can't play defense. But, that's a flexible, this, in this day and age in the MLB, it's a flexible position. You know what I mean? It allows, JT to play every day. You know what I mean? Like when he needs to go down. Like, so if this thing continues to linger for Harp, when JT needs a day off, he's just not going to play. You know what I mean? Or is he going to play first? You know what I mean? Like, and is it going to be, it's only going to be a matter of time before Schwarber's defense might rear its ugly head too. You know what I mean? So, it's just, I'm curious to see how, where it goes and how this plays out. You know what I mean? And, hopefully it's nothing serious, but it's definitely lingering right now, whatever it is.
Yeah, and they've kept it close to the vest.
Yeah,
right? And which concerns me. And I lose his defense. Okay, like, and I'm not crowning Harper's defense, but like. I also use what you just said, which was perfectly. I use the merry-go-round, which is what the DH should be for me. Like I use that, I lose that. Like I don't need a daily DH. I need to mix and match that. I need to get guys off their feet a little bit. That's what it's for. It's for to give guys little breathers. It's for your catcher who you're paying a shit ton of money to, where you keep them fresh. So that in September, and like he's done in the past, where he's sort of, you can tell, he's not the same player, JT. Like in September, because he has no legs left, right? And in a sport where it's all legs, to be able to drive baseballs, I need my guys to have his legs.
Yep.
So, I mean, listen, I don't know. They got to come out and give us some information on this and tell me what it is, because he threw the other day and he got the MRI and nothing came back. And it was just like a sprain of some sort or whatever it is. And, he still has discomfort when he throws. So, I know, like I said, I know he's trying to get out there, but to me, it's a joke that he's not. Like not a joke, like in a like it's his fault. Just like it's crazy. Like, it's a joke they haven't told us. Like, hey, what's going on here? Like this is weird. This is our most expensive player, our biggest asset, and we don't know what's going on. We just hear strain, but he still hasn't played the field yet. I mean, the only advantage is he hasn't taken a day off hitting, which tells you like, okay, it can't be egregious, or he wouldn't be hitting still. I mean, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely, buddy. Like I said, and that's why it's probably why, because it's not quite like, it's obviously not like the NFL injury report where everybody fucking bullshits and, tries to game plan and scheme, every week, and so it's not like that. So there's no reason to lie, but I think it's more of the fact that, like you said, he's still hitting every day. So they look at it like, well, we don't nothing to see here. We don't have anything to report. Yeah, sure you do. This is our right fielder for the next 10 years. Excuse me. Like
you need to hear something.
What are we talking about here? So yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. But April's over, and we discussed it ad nauseum for weeks. Like, you don't win a division in April, but you can lose it. And they did their best to try to do that. The Rockies 4-gamer was huge. You know what I mean? Because you even expect, especially how bad they played in Colorado. You know what I mean? So to come back home, and it's hard to 4-game sweep anybody. You know what I mean? So I don't give a shit. Who you were playing, you know what I mean? And the Rockies have a good lineup. They just, shit all over themselves and were atrocious on defense. And the Phillies bats woke up, last week, when the weather wasn't great too. So that was always a good thing to see, because it's not hitting weather yet. Yeah, it's not hitting season yet. So that was good to see, the bats wake up last week, even though, like I said, a lot of it was self-induced, from the Rockies, you know what I mean? Like, defensively. But it was, that was, so they get that momentum, and to come in this series and lose 2 out of 3, it's just, and one of them being a no-hitter is just unacceptable. You know what I mean? And then you lay another egg on national TV, the primetime game, and you got a 3-2 lead, and like you said, Eflin's not good enough, and we know that, but like expected to keep it reasonable and respectable, and maybe you can like you said, maybe a swing like Camargo's would mean something, had you been down 2 or 3 as opposed to being down 6.
Yep, completely agree. So they got to get. Oh, they gotta get hot. They gotta get hot soon. They gotta rattle some off, and we can start feeling better about them. But right now, they're like I said, they're right where they are. One game under 500, been inconsistent. They rattled the 4 off. That's great, but you got to come back in and win a series. So they haven't been able to do that against good teams yet. So we will keep an eye out.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll keep an eye out for whenever they want to start doing it. Little Eagles draft recap. We'll run through that quick, and then we'll get into our crumbs of the day. Eagles draft recap brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. Go taste the Trenton. All right, a little whiz wit. They got you taken care of over at Gleason's. Delicious. So go dabble. So Eagles great. I know, I won't call you an outsider with the Eagles, but it's nice to get, a different opinion than just the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, no, I would say, yeah, no, I appreciate that. Going for, I wouldn't mind going first because,
Please.
No, I mean, as a fan, I think you can clean it up with, with your opinion and your take. I thought they did a tremendous job. I thought Howie did a great job. It's everything is especially when in the draft, it's always a coulda, woulda, shoulda, and everybody's gets finds themselves like and listen, you can't do that until a guy's actually step on the field. You know what I mean? So even though we might not like a guy on draft night or he doesn't fit the scheme or whatever, like I said, everybody's cup of tea. You still gotta, see a guy play. You know what I mean? So, but I thought, I thought Howie did a tremendous job. You know what I mean? Like I said, I personally would have took Kyle Hamilton, with that spot, just, because, and I don't know if he's going to be a bust or if he's going to, a lot of Notre Dame guys have failed by the wayside, you know what I mean? So a lot of Irish fans out there, and I'm sure they wouldn't be happy with that, with that take, but it's really reality. I mean, there's, a lot of Notre Dame guys have crashed and burned, you know what I mean? So, but the kid looks like a special player, all right, and especially in a position of need, all right? So that's probably what I would have went. Right, but you can't go wrong with it, and with a mountain of a man like Davis. You know what I mean? Like you can't you can't go wrong there. You know what I mean? Now, all the other issues. Let's not talk about scheme, and let's talk about how he was used. You know what I mean? I just the way I look at it is, hey, listen, there is a difference between 1-2 and ability. All right. And like I said, I don't know anything about the kid, so I'm not speculating. I'm just giving you a blanket statement how that shakes out in sports. You know what I mean? There's guys that are uber talented, and there's guys that want it more. You know what I mean? And then there's guys that have that mix of, hey, 1-2, want to be great and want to be the best teammate, and they have ability. All right. And then those guys become legendary and they become all pros. You know what I mean? So, who knows how this is going to shake out? You know what I mean? The physicality is there. You know what I mean? The guy's is an absolute monster, and he's used to. And let's just see. I'm just curious to see how it plays out, because I told you guys early in the week, or when it happened, he's always been the biggest guy in high school. Probably been always the biggest guy in college. I know he went to Georgia, and SEC's loaded with studs, but he's always been the biggest guy. Like in the NFL, that's not going to be the case. I mean, he's still an absolute monster. You know what I mean? And that's but he's not going to be the bully on the block. You know what I mean? So that's where you're going to need some technique and the ability to be coachable and to learn things, and we're hoping that he can get that from Fletch and his coaches and Hargraves and guys like that, and and be that be that huge run stopper. And then whenever they maybe let them, I don't want to say let them. I mean, if you believe the Georgia coaches, I don't know that. You know what I mean? Like as a coach myself, I know I would never badmouth my players. You know what I mean? So if my guy couldn't get to the quarterback, I surely wouldn't tell anybody. I understand film don't lie. You know what I mean? But the easiest thing to say to to scouts and to everybody is to say, hey, listen, we used them in this scheme, or this is the way we used them. And I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying, like, I hope so. I hope so for Eagles fans. You know what I mean? Because but worst case scenario, you get them, you get a gigantic nose tackle in essence. You know what I mean? Like. And that's not a bad thing either. You know what I mean? Like, like maybe he does keep the guards off your linebackers. You know what I mean? And the Eagles don't have linebackers, but the Eagles took one linebacker with a chip on his shoulder that might be able to go side to side now. You know what I mean? A teammate of his. So if he can keep guys off him, and he can make some plays when healthy. Look out, you know what I mean? And that was, talk about a steal. And there was a guy with first round talent that people got a little upset, or alarm clocks went off because of the medical issue. You know what I mean? And it fell in the Eagles' lap at 83. It was a tremendous pick. And then obviously AJ Brown, that's a no doubter. You know what I mean? That's a no doubter. I know, people want to say, oh, why don't you take a receiver there? And then you got more control of a rookie. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Rookie receivers are hit or miss. I know there's some of them that are special, and we get that. You know what I mean? But, some of these guys are hit and miss, hit or miss. When you get a proven guy, and you got to pay him, who cares? It's not your money. You got to pay him anyway. So don't worry about that. So with Brown, you just worry about some of the nagging injuries. You know what I mean? I know you saw that in Tennessee, you know what I mean? But sometimes you got to be a riverboat gambler. You got to take a shot, you know what I mean? And that shows your football team and your young quarterback that obviously you're committed to. Doesn't matter how we feel about him, or, at least they're showing him that they're committed to him. And now they're pushing their chips all in on offense. So now time's yours, Jalen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no more excuses. Time to go. I think he said it all well. Jordan Davis, I love the pick. First off, I loved not only it's easy to love the two Georgia picks, but I like the direction Howie Roseman's going, especially last year's draft, and then he comes back this year and does the same thing. I mean, he's going to not just going to bigger schools. I don't really care about that. He's going to winning programs. He's going to get guys who just won. Right. And I think it matters enough. I think that kind of culture, when you're trying to rebuild your football team again, right? I think that's important. With Devontae, Landon Dickerson, they're guys who just won. Right now, you go back this year and you go and get, in my opinion, the anchor of that defense, where it all starts up front, is with Jordan Davis. And it goes from there. Not saying the rest of those guys don't got a ton of talent, because they're probably the best defense we saw in college football in the last 20 years. So they're all freaking super talented. That's why 6 went or 5 went in the first round. They're loaded. But we got another guy who should have went in the first round, who was the leader of their defense. That's why I love the pick even more. I would have loved it at 18. But then the fact that you go get it in the third round, and he's a leader of the defense, and he fell because of some medicals, like that happens to players. They fall for different reasons, and it comes back and bites, 32 other teams or 31 other teams in the ass. And I love that. I love a great player that Kobe Dean is, right? Because again, the captain of the best defense we've seen in college football in the last 20 years. I mean, and then I got the guy right up in the middle that I know, like, demands attention, right? Do I think he's a finished product pass rushing? No, but I've also seen him numerous times drive the guard and center right back into the quarterback too. So, I mean, your D tackle's job is to blow the middle up, right? Is to make guys have to escape at the ends, go clean it up. And I thought he did a tremendous job of that at Georgia. I think his ability to rush the quarterback is sort of like, he gets shit on a little bit for it when I think he's better than he is. So I say he's got great pass rushing moves. No, but he's going to bowl over a lot of guards in this league. I can guarantee you that. Now, are tackles as big as him? Yeah, there's some tackles walking around that are as big as him, but he doesn't go against tackles. He's going against guards, and there's not going to be many guards that are going to be 6'6", 340 that he's matched up against. So, now it becomes your point. Yeah, he's not the bully on the block. This is the highest level of sports. So, no, you're not anymore because guys got great technique. Guys got other stuff that they can do to you, but he's a specimen. I think he's more of a can't miss because of when he steps in day one and does than Hamilton. But Hamilton looks and walks and plays like a stud. So, that's just one of those things where like, hey, this is where they value. If they drafted Hamilton, I really would have thought it'd been a changing of the stripes. But I don't think you can go wrong when you're going and getting guys from places that just won. When you're trying to build your football team out again, you're trying to build a culture. So I love those picks. The center, I mean, I'm never going to like hate on the Eagles drafting offensive lineman because they usually do a pretty good job with it. And you can never have too many. So I like that pick. And the A.J. Brown's a home run. So, I graded it out as an A+. I know people were like, well, you didn't get a corner or you didn't get a safety. Like, I get it. I understand that. They're holes, right? They're holes. But we argue we have the best front on paper in the NFC East right now, in my opinion. Like right there. I know Washington's loaded, but we're pretty good. Our front's pretty good. And I would say, depending on how Jordan Davis is, right? It can go right with them. So if it's not Washington, it's us, vice versa. They're the two best. And I can make the argument we're deeper. I mean, we really are. We got a lot of guys that we can bring at you, but we have a legitimate pass rusher on the outside that we've been missing, especially when Brandon Graham went down, right? And Hassan Reddick really brings you that. So that's huge. And for the first time here as an Eagles fan, you're coming into a season at the linebacker position and you're saying, wow, we're pretty deep there. Like our front seven now is pretty deep. It's pretty deep, like in terms of what you have out there. Like that's the other thing. Like they went out and got Kaiser White in from San Diego, LA, who I think's a pretty good linebacker. They really like Sean Bradley playing the middle. That's what they say. And then you go and get into Kobe Dean, and Davion Taylor had flashes when he was healthy last year. So you go from a really bleak linebacking core to some positives, not crowning it, just saying, hey, it could be a positive position now. We could have a really good front seven. So if you win up front, you win with the front seven, and that takes pressure off that back end. Now, again, they're not going to go in this season without another corner, right? So, like, I'm not going to panic about that. But your picks, you got a lot of. I hate value, but you got a lot of value, and you left this draft with the most proven commodity that you could leave this draft with, and that's A.J. Brown. So, and like you said, time's yours, Jalen. You got guys to throw the football to now. You have it looks like you have the makings of a pretty good defense, at least better than last year. We stunk at stopping the run. Jordan Davis, second he walks in the door, makes us better against the run. So that's a guarantee. The pass rushing side of it, other things. Can he be a 3-down defensive tackle? That's all we'll find out down the road, right? But I hate when people are like, well, you don't draft a guy that can only play 2 downs. Like, hold on. You draft a guy that can play 2 downs that can absolutely make you have to throw the football. Like, yes, you do. You do. There's certain times you do that.
Yeah. Even if you wrap 2 down, then that's a special player.
Yeah, I don't care if you're doing it in 2 downs, 3 downs. I mean, how many guys play every down of a game anyway? So that doesn't bother me. Like, I told you this like the other day. I think the Jaguars got a home run in the guy they got at 1. Right, but the other reason he's really talented and he's a great kid, that's why he went 1-2, freaking aces of a kid. But the other side of it is, I mean, look what he's got up front with him. I mean, to all those guys, there's a reason. There's a reason they all were really successful. And I'm not saying it's all because of Jordan Davis, but in college football, when Alabama's triple teaming you, like when Alabama's triple and double teaming you whole game, that says what I need to know about how this guy makes it easier for everybody. Right, and I think it's another reason why Nakobe fell too. I feel like people felt like Nakobe was only good because this guy's in front of him. No. Nakobe can flat out play, but you just didn't watch him enough. Now the pack, but I still feel like the way linebackers were going, he probably wasn't going to go in the first round anyway. Just because linebackers weren't like flying like they have in other years, right? Like the linebacker run came a little later, I feel like, in the first round. So he might even fell out of the first. Either way, you're leaving with winners. And I'm not going to overrate that and act like that's the end-all be-all because this is the next level. But it's a good start in rebuilding a fucking culture. You got to rebuild a culture. And all around your football team now, and it's not just Alabama or just Georgia. Like, I'm talking about any teams that win. Like, I want to go Cincinnati's playing in one of those last 4 games too, right? Like, Sauce Gardner to me is a winner. So like it doesn't just have to be cut the nets down. It's if you're one of those last 4 teams standing, you had a successful season, right? You know what it takes to be successful and win, and you're probably at a program that you're well coached, right? And things like that are happening. So when you come to the next level, you're a little bit more ready for it. And you know how to be a fucking leader. I need leaders, especially in this sport more than others. Like you need guys that are leaders and know what it takes to win. So I'm excited. I still don't have a quarterback, but I'm excited.
Yeah. If your roster is littered with Alabama and Georgia guys, you're gonna be all right.
You'll survive. And I like that it wasn't like, oh, we went Bama twice last year and we went back to Bama twice, right? No, we went Bama twice last year and now we went Georgia twice. Like, okay, I like where you guys are going. And then we go to Nebraska for an offensive lineman. I like where your guys' heads are at. I do. We go to the Big Ten for linemen. I like where your guys' heads are at. I'm not the Big Ten wide receiver guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're good, but like certain positions I go to certain places for. Like offense and defensive line, I'm either going to the Big Ten or I'm going to the SEC. Like there's where I like to go for my big guys up front, right? And then skill position guys I feel like can go, anywhere, right? But we know it. We know. I mean, look at Jamar Chase. Like, look at Joe Burrow.
I mean, listen. Yeah.
Go back to winners, right? They won. They won. They didn't.
The guy that loves to eat, I'll equate it to like, hey, listen, I'm not, I'm going to Maggio's for Italian. I'm not going to Olive Garden. I know a lot of people love the OG. It makes me puke. Come on, make me puke.
For 2 days. I've been sick for 2 days.
My fucking asshole falls out.
Yeah, Admit all you can eat super salad. My asshole just fell out. I didn't get to the pasta yet. Just the vinegar, just the dressing on the salad just drops the asshole. I worked at the OG for a minute. I felt like I was always in the bathroom.
Walking around, no asshole.
But exciting times to be an Eagles fan. Howie Roseman's really done a good job, and this draft's unknown, but it is known for A.J. Brown. He's done a really good job the last 2 years, and I'll give him credit when he has, and I'll smoke him when he hasn't. But I love when general managers can admit they made a mistake. And the trading for A.J. Brown admits that Jalen Reagor was a mistake. So I like when guys.
And every time they watch the Vikings. But yes, you're right.
Helps too. But, right? I like when they'll admit it. Like, hey, I'm not just going to admit it by drafting another one. I'm going to admit it by trading that pick because I know I'm not good at that. At that position and going, and this is what we talk about all the time. Like, if you're not good at certain positions, fine. They're the ones you got to go spend money on. For the Eagles, you're good up front. That's what you've always been good at. So you go spend money on corners. You go spend money on wide receivers, right? You go spend money on those positions because they're the ones you're not great at drafting.
Yep.
So, good shit. We'll get in the crumb of the week. I don't know why my mouse isn't working. There we go. Crumb of the week, brought to you by Araya Public Adjusting. Do you have damage to your home or property? They may be able to help. Don't fight your homeowner's insurance alone. Contact our good friends at Araya Public Adjusting at 813-564-3364. There's the elbow to Embiid. And there's damage to our property right there. Call Araya Public Adjusting. You can get them on all the social media platforms as well. Our good friend Sean Klein over there. Go tell them the boys from A2D sent you. If you need anything or just questions, even if it's just questions right now, like reach out to them. I know people they just showed him with the mask too. Did he hit this 3 with the mask? Yeah, we're fine. We're back. Crumb of the week. If you have one, I'll let you go first. I gotta run outside and I gotta piss behind the garage real fast.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll go ahead. I got mine's Glenn Rivers. I can't get off it. I'm that agitated, and like I said, I know there's plenty of people that, especially when it happened and, said, oh, it's the NBA and every team does it. I don't care, right? First of all, be different, right? Second of all, that's bullshit, right? Up 29, under 4. There's no reason for it, right? And the guy's got a torn thumb and, torn ligament in his thumb, right? No business being in the game, right? And that's not fucking second guessing. That's first guessing, okay? So that's just that's just the fucking where it is. And we talk about we can't ever have nice things, and this is just an example of it. So find a way, Glenn Rivers, to rally your fucking team. All right, take responsibility for your actions, and let your guys know, hey, that's on me. Hopefully the big fella can come back for game 3. Let's find a way to get let's find a way to go down the South Beach and get a split. All right. And see if we can do that. You know what I mean? But it's still not going to take away the fact that, he's going to be the crumb of the week. He's my crumb of the week for that. And a lot of other people's. And like I said, the biggest thing is, the orbital bone, that's no fun. It's the concussion part. You know what I mean? So, if he broke his nose or something like that, whatever, what I mean? Like, but the concussion part is the lingering part is what's causing him to miss games 1 and 2 anyway. And it's just, it's, and here we go, playoff Glenn again. You know what I mean? Prior to coming to Philadelphia, we know about playoff Doc, and we got it last year against the Hawks, even though, he was, only partially responsible for that, as being the leader of the team. We always hold our coaches accountable. Players play, coaches coach, but we know there were some other things that didn't get done in that series. In the end of the day, we didn't get it done. So, it's a new year. We were excited, we were jazzed, and now we're still excited. We still can't wait for tomorrow and for the series to start and see what see if anything can happen, see if we can shock the world. But the part of me is never going to forgive Doc for this. I mean, especially if it goes sideways and we get bounced in 5, and without having a chance to play the Heat at full with a full squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's unfair. It's truly unfair. That's the best way. That's the best thing I can say about it. Like, it's just sad. It's sad. It's unfair. Why does it happen to us? And I'm not saying we were going to win this series. Like, I don't know. I don't got the crystal ball to it, right? But we have a real good chance of winning it. And now it's like, I don't know. I don't even know if we stand a chance until I see it, right? Like, it's like I got to see it. Even though I had to say Sixers in 7, because I do believe he's coming back. So at what capability, I don't know. But I do believe he's gonna do everything in his power to come back once the concussion side clears, and maybe we can tread water up until then. And that's
like you said, just a real quick add on to your point, like the sad part about it, why it's sad, and not just let's take the fans out. We don't play, we just enjoy it, we go through it, and and we spend money and stuff on lots of things. You know what I mean? So we support our teams. Don't get it twisted. But the sad part for me is the individual part for Joe. We know how much he wants to win. You know what I mean? We remember the tears in Game 7 against Toronto. You know what I mean? We remember last year, taking responsibility and absolutely, and not babying Ben, like, which he shouldn't have did. You know what I mean? Because that's how much he wanted to win. You know what I mean? He thought a little tough love might have helped him. It didn't. It drove him away. And that's fine. He's gone. We don't need him. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? So we know how much winning means to the big fella, and and how much he wanted to shed the injury label and all that stuff. And he did that for this season. This season he did that. He was the MVP, and he played. And he played, and he didn't miss games, and it was playoff time. And this shit happened to him with the thumb, and now he doesn't belong in the game, and his face gets smashed, and it's like, at some point you just want this guy to catch a break. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the sad part for me.
Yep, it's the same with me. Same with me, because it's a guy that we love his talent, we love his energy, we love his 1-2, we love his willingness to play through injuries and the play.
Walt Whitman. Yep.
Yep, and the plays are being banged up. But I need everybody to do us a favor right now. I need you to hit the like and subscribe over on YouTube. For anybody that was over on Facebook, I don't know what happened over there, but we're still on YouTube and Twitter. So if you haven't, hit the like, hit the subscribe, stay with us. All right. Stay with us through the rest of this playoff run and through the Phillies and Eagles. And, maybe one day we'll be able to talk Flyers again. Probably not anytime soon, though. But stay with us even outside of our local teams as well. My crumb of the week would easily be Doc as well. But I just constantly, me personally, I just constantly run into bullshit. Like wherever I am, I got a magnet for bullshit. I just always do. Like, I don't know what I do. Like, I feel like I'm a good person. I feel like I'm in it for what I do for all the right reasons, right? I'm not, I'm not rich off of it. You know it, right? I mean, it's not a get rich scheme here when you're coaching and you're there and you're winning games and you're playing longer in the weekends. It becomes long weekends. So listen, I just ask for people out there to have a feel. So when I mean by having a feel, like, I don't care about the trophy. I don't care. And I know I'll speak for you with everything I'm going to say. I don't care about it. Like, I'm not saying I didn't win anything at the college level or the pro level or anything like that. I won when I played. Right? I accomplished what I set to accomplish with my goals, and I'm happy where I am as a man today to not live through fucking trophy chasing. Okay? So if I win tournaments, great. Awesome for the kids. Awesome. If I get there, even better for guys, right? Because you're playing more baseball games. I don't care. So for other teams out there that want to go air guys out, 150 freaking plus pitches on a weekend is a disgrace. It's a disgrace to youth sports. It's a disgrace to everything that the good people out there do for the kids, that you got people out there. You got 45 dads on the sideline. Okay. Everybody's got a jacket on. All right. Everybody's a free jacket party. Everybody get a jacket. Okay. And you allow this to happen. And the other side of it is for parents out there that go to youth events, right? Travel balls, whatever, right? Don't engage coaches. All right. Leave coaches the hell out of it. Okay. Like, mind your business on the sideline. So if a coach wants to bring up and say it out loud, like, hey, we're throwing this guy again, right? Like, I'm letting everybody know what's happening. So everybody can see it. And if you don't see it and you want to engage a coach over that, then be my guest, because you're a moron and you're everything too what's wrong with youth sports. And the last little thing for all my umpire people out there, all right? You know why? You know why you get grief sometimes? Because you're rude, right? You're rude. A lot of you guys are rude. You expect confrontation, so you clam up and you get rude about it, all right? All right? Calls get missed. Things happen, all right? But control games is your first job. You're getting paid more money than anybody out there, right? Second thing. Third thing is when a coach says timeout and comes out to talk to you at any level, don't ever say get off your field, because you don't own the field, buddy. You're not playing today, right? If anybody's field it is, it's the kids that are playing. That's their field today. That's the field they're on. That's the field they're playing on. So when you say that to somebody, right, that's almost like tossable. Like, a coach should go ballistic on you. Yeah. So there's like my crumbs. Like, my crumbs aren't like, hey, you're missing calls. Like, dude, all expected. But when you miss something, don't have a quick trigger either. Be able to take a little bit of it. All right. Be able to take a little bit of criticism. Because at the end of the day, the coaches, not the fans, the coaches are your boss for that day. The coaches are there to say, hey, you did a really good job today. Or wait, you got way too involved in this baseball game for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You're not going to win and lose games for anybody.
Out of sight, out of mind, right? And the same guy, to your point, I asked him where it was, where a pitch was early in the day prior to you getting there. And he told me he was in the other batter's box. I said, oh, now you got jokes? And no, it wasn't. Right? So first of all, you're wrong. Second of all, you're not a fucking stand-up comedian. Right? You might want to, I'd advise you quit both occupations, because you suck at both.
Oh, and the last final thought, you know what bad parents and all that bring is it comes into being bad kids, okay, and disrespectful kids. This game is supposed to be taught to play the right way, right? So, like, if one of my guys was saying anything to somebody else, they're getting smoked for it, right? Because everything's directed at us, nobody else. Right, when you get to high school and you want to get rowdy on the bench, all right, there's even limits there on what you do and what you don't do, right? And I just think when you have listen, when you have daddy ball, man, when you have daddy ball, you get these things. But today's egregious. Today's one of the worst things I've ever seen in a sporting event. To throw two pitchers and the only two pitchers you throw in four baseball games. Like, it's the definition of trophy chasing. And if I'm a parent, I'm pulling my kid off of the team in the middle of that. I'm going to say, hey, we're good. We've seen enough here. Right? We're not going to get better playing here. I'm not even talking about the pitchers. Right? I'm talking about the positional player. Like, hey, we're good. Hey, Jimmy, come on. Time to go home. We've seen enough. If you have a fucking feel sitting there, if you have a feel sitting there, you're going to say, you know what? This guy who just brought it up, right? I don't have to like it, but it's the truth, right? Maybe we should pack our bags and go home, because I'm not saying it because I think the guy who's thrown 82 is going to beat us. Of course he's going to beat us. I'm saying it so they can go pick up his elbow after the game on the mound. Both of them. And then you said they're twins, which is even funnier, right? They're twins, so it's the same parents. The same parents are allowing that to happen. And if one of the dads or the coach, then man, best of luck to your kids, because I don't wish injury upon any kids or anybody ever, right? And I'm not saying these kids will ever get hurt, but this is why kids get hurt. For what? What'd you win? A medal and a T-shirt? Dude, my garage is littered with bullshit like that, and it gets thrown out every Monday. Or it gets thrown out once a year. Like, it isn't like, oh, let me keep them and hang them on the wall.
Yep.
Get the fuck up. Win something in high school and hang that on the wall, right? Win something in college, hang that on the wall. Keep that forever. We all played travel ball at some point of our lives. I don't remember shit I won. I remember the good times. I remember developing as a baseball player, whatever, right? You remember those things. You remember who your coach was. You remember those types of things, the guys you played with. That's what you remember. You ain't remembering that. So the job in youth sports is to get guys ready for the next level. So when you miss signs on travel ball levels on the big field and you're getting ready for the high school level, I'm going to hammer you and get all over you, because the next level, guess what? Come have a seat. And the third level after that is pack your dorm room up. That's how it goes.
And like you said earlier about pulling your kid, it was a huge point. And I think you should have said it back to, even though you meant all together, I think you meant 100% spot on. If you're a pitcher, and what confidence do you show in the rest of your pitchers? You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's a two-man show here, so nobody else gets to pitch. You guys okay with that? You know what I mean? So you can get a T-shirt. Like, come on, man. Like, at some point, you're going to need those other guys, all right? How those other guys going to learn at 13U to pitch through adversity, or, to pitch to contact or anything like that, when they're not even getting any opportunities. You know what I mean?
No, never. And it's like, I only bring, the one team, I only have 10. And I don't have a lot of pitching. So I bring just guys that need to get the work in or try it for the first time, just to make sure that we don't got to run guys up. Like today, we played a couple tournaments. We've been getting our bullpens in. We've been getting stretch out. It was a nice day. So listen, I'll let my first guy go 70. I'll let him go in the 70s if he's feeling good. But he's not going to go any further than that. I think the first guy I had to go went 82. And I didn't even want him let him to get there. But he's like, I really wanted one more. And I said, all right. I'll give you one more, but you get in trouble, you're coming right out. We're not allowing it to get in the 90s right now, but it was a nice day. We're stretching you out slowly. Go ahead. The next guy in the game went 70 something. Like, come on, man, have a fucking feel. Like, I took the guy out at 70 pitches in a 2-0 game. Right? Knowing that that was my ace up my sleeve for this, right? And if we don't get it done, then we don't get it done, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm going to go to a kid who's just getting the work in, right? That like super talented, can absolutely pitch, but like I don't ask him to do it a ton. It's more like, hey, this is your turn. This is your chance to go out and get your pitch and go through 25, 30 pitches.
I did the same thing. Yeah, 71 after 3. I said, that's enough. All right,
let's go. That's it. Like, and so I mean, come on, we were both in the games at our points of doing that. So right, like I'm not saying I'm coming back and beating them. I'm not saying that when a guy's throwing 80 at 13. But you don't even you rob two teams of having the ability to play to win a baseball game because of your selfishness in a way, right? Like anybody else throws, you give these kids a chance at some point of those games. Just some point, anybody else. You then give kids a chance to compete in it, right? You're robbing two things at the same time. you're robbing the kids, and you're robbing the kids you're freaking throwing their arm off. You're robbing them of maybe a future, who are two super talented kids that you're robbing. Like, I don't see many arms at 80.
Exactly.
I get it. So save them.
If you got
pool play the first day, why are you even throwing those guys?
Exactly. If you got 4 guys, like that, then hey, tip the cap to you. You know what I mean? But to play a tournament where the same 2 guys ran it back for 4 games is insane, bro.
Insane. And somebody should call them out on it. And I'm glad people did, and I'm glad people saw it. And so for everybody out there, today that was like, you're on Facebook Live. Good. You're live too right now. So you're live too, just to confirm that. Because I told the one person, I don't know if you're just assuming I care about the 1,000 people you have on your timeline necessarily. All right, now we'll get it out to 200+ thousand. All right, night. Shut your fucking mouth. All right, you have no clue. This isn't fast pitch softball where we're just where we're just coming back out and going again. No, it's not. It's not. That's a different sport. Idiots. But listen, fun talk. It's fun to talk some Sixers, even though it's bad times right now. It feels like bad times. Maybe it's not. Maybe the Sixers can go steal a game tomorrow night. Yeah. I'll still be jacked up until they prove that they can't. And then we go from there. But hey, 7-game series. Can we play good enough defensively? Can our perimeter defense play well enough? Can we rebound well enough? Some of those question marks we're going to have going into this series. But the biggest one of all is what James Harden do we get? Does he have some lift in the legs? Can he carry us for a few games? Listen, we're all going to pray for it, because if we get that, if we get any semblance of the real James Harden, I think we're going to make this extremely competitive, until Joe gets back.
Yep.
And if that's 2-1, if that's 2-1 them or 2-1 us, like, I think it could be that. And I think the main goal is to be 2-2, and then Joe comes back. That should be our goal. If we can somehow get to that, which is very hard, that's the ideal goal, because now that, okay, the orbital's rested a little bit too. a little bit.
No, you're right.
We appreciate you all listening. And like every Sunday, we're brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. I know next Sunday's Mother's Day, so hopefully we can bring you a late show. We might not. So just
sent one of my kids to see Doc 2 weeks ago. He was supposed to be out a couple weeks, and he came back in a week. So if something's bothering you, definitely go see go see the doc, and see if we can take care of you and get you get you back on your feet, or get you back to whatever activity you need to do, because one of my players had a bad hip, and Doc got him going.
Best in the business, Dr. Paul Vidal. So hopefully, maybe we'll see before Joel gets back. We'll at least get a video from Doc, at minimum, just letting us know sort of what he's got to deal with the injury, etc. So we'll get the Doc on at some point, maybe before Joel comes back, or at least a video from our Doc. No Wilson, no Greg tonight, but this is easy money for us.
Right side, fucking strong side, baby.
I want you all to go back and listen to a couple weeks ago when Greg and Wilson did it by themselves, and then I want you all to do us a favor and then go back and listen to the ones we did by ourselves, and you tell us. All right, you come tell us what side was better for you. Right? Time's yours, like Jalen. Time's yours, people. That's Nick Delgazzo. I'm Tom Arnone. We love you all. We thank you all for listening all the time, not only our shows, but every show on this platform. Turn your alerts on, subscribe, follow. We're everywhere, baby.
Sixers.
10-9-8.